Hey guys,
Jim.
it's Jim Halterman from TV Guide Magazine.
Hello.
You're the vicar.
Pleased to meet you, Mrs. Seaborn. John, you remember the day I cut my face?
She's the strange lady from the marshes.
I've seen a couple of the episodes and I'm totally hooked. I have to watch everything. Your character's first scene is digging a sheep that's stuck in the mud in the marshes. What was shooting that day like? Because I could tell this is not a soundstage. You guys are actually in the mud out there.
Yeah.
That was a very heavy sheep or mock sheep. It was
no animals were harmed in the making of
No.
this movie.
Okay.
but human beings were.
Yes.
Well, I'll sheep aside. The show also has a lot to say about faith and what people believe in. Can you talk about how each of your characters, their beliefs are challenged in the series? Claire, can you start first with Cora?
Sure. Well, I think the belief that she needs to be challenged is that she did a terrible thing and that she's deserving of shame, right? She had been in a very abusive relationship for pretty much her entire adult life and had no sense of, she had nothing to compare that experience to. She didn't know how restrained she had been, or without oxygen she had been, until suddenly she's released from that torment, really, and she's kind of buoyed to the surface very quickly, and kind of scrambling to kind of get a clue about who she might be as this independent entity. So I thought that was really interesting because it's like her growth had been kind of stunted, and yet she was this mature person. There was a real disconnect, and I thought that was fascinating. And she immediately meets all of these colorful, animated, vibrant characters, and falls into one thrilling relationship after another, and is able to explore the world through them. I thought it was kind of, in some ways it's a very familiar kind of biblical story, but recontextualized and reimagined, and the the characters, instead of being punished for having human impulses, are actually embraced and loved.
Yeah. Tom, can you talk about that as far as Will? Because he also has his beliefs. Like, he doesn't believe in the serpent, even though people keep bringing it up. And that, do you see how his beliefs are challenged throughout the series?
Certainly. I think his faith has given him certainty and clarity, specifically as a man to whom people look for answers. And I think his faith is very progressive, and his belief in God is that God is the force of love in the world. And he's wary of superstition, but there are elements of life that perhaps have not been fathomed, and dimensions of being alive that have not been experienced, passions which have not been felt, and they need to be integrated into his understanding and into his soul, and his theology. And Cora arrives and awakens all of that.
And Claire, how does Cora integrate into this society? Because they're not real open to free thinkers and people wanting to challenge things. And Cora kind of comes in with this curiosity. That, does the town welcome her, or is there some pushing away of her because of the way she's thinking?
No, and I think she's been really isolated, so she doesn't. She's quite inexperienced, and doesn't kind of. She doesn't have a sense of how dangerous that questioning can be interpreted as, and be seen. So she's not prepared for the adversity that she finds, or the resistance. She doesn't know that she's being provocative. You know, yeah. So she is quite clumsy, and but she's just kind of strangely naive. She learns a lot about herself and the world, and happens to inspire other people to interrogate new ideas along the way.
Yeah.
And there's value in that.
Thanks so much, both of you. Make sure to click subscribe underneath this video and watch the ESSEX Serpent starting May 13th on Apple TV+.